10 shocking signs the universe is demanding you to find your soulmate now. The air crackled with something electric that night. In the small town of Willow Creek, a strange pull was in the air, like the universe itself had lined up all the stars to whisper secrets to anyone willing to listen. The townsfolk shivered, feeling a tingle creep down their spines. It was as if the cosmos was demanding attention, beckoning each person toward a destiny that was just grasping at the edges of their reality. Every heart skipped, a silent alarm ringing that tonight would change everything. Just across town, Sarah felt it first. Her hands shook as she pulled the thread of her sweater, a rather ordinary thing. But under the moonlight, it gleamed with an aura that felt almost supernatural. She had always dismissed the notion of soulmates, thought it was fairy tale nonsense. But tonight, a strange intuition told her differently. A quick glance at her phone revealed a notification, a random live stream titled, 10 Shocking Signs You Are About to Meet Your Soulmate. Her fingers trembled as she clicked it, her heart racing with undeniable curiosity. While Sarah sat glued to her screen, down at the local diner, a wide-eyed Tommy leaned over to whisper to his friend, "You ever notice how people are acting weird today? Like, brighter, more open. It's like they're waiting for something big." His friend shrugged but couldn't help but let out a nervous chuckle, while the golden glow of the diner lights flickered, drawing shadows that danced like restless spirits. The clatter of dishes and the murmur of excitement formed a strange symphony that imparted both comfort and suspense. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Meanwhile, the clock struck 10, and suddenly, everything changed. The diner doors swung open violently, and in strode a woman cloaked in mystery dark hair, cascading like a midnight waterfall, eyes that sparkled with secrets untold. She looked around the room as if searching for someone, and a hush fell over the diner. Tommy's breath caught in his throat. Sarah, watching online, felt a sudden pang of deep yearning, as if the universe was urging her to leap from her seat and chase after that mystery. But who was she? And why did each person in that diner feel as if they were part of something far greater? The answer brushed the edges of their consciousness, lingering just out of reach. As the woman took a seat by the window, Tommy and Sarah exchanged glances that screamed of fate. Each heartbeat resounded with desperate urgency. The question lingered in the air like an electrified fog. Were they ready to embrace what the universe was throwing at them? And just like that, the night was far from over. Would they dare to uncover whether the signs were real or mere coincidences? What awaited them in the shadows of their suppressed desires and the secrets of their hearts? Only time would tell. The woman scanned the diner, her gaze lingering on Tommy and Sarah. For a fleeting moment, Tommy felt as if she were looking right through him, peeling back layers of doubts and insecurities. As the silence thickened, all eyes turned toward the stranger, breath held tight and hearts racing. Time itself seemed to pause. "Who is she?" whispered a voice from the back. A murmur rippled through the crowd. It was a tension no one could shake. Sarah's heart pounded in sync with the ticking clock, insisting she should be the one to approach this unknown figure. But how could she? Just a moment ago, she was a skeptic, drowning in the reality of her everyday life. Suddenly, the woman stretched out her hand, beckoning the couple toward her table. A magnetic pull seemed to draw them closer. Tommy glanced at Sarah. Her eyes sparkled with both fear and unimaginable thrill, as if daring the universe to plunge them into the depths of destiny. "Are you going to just sit there?" Tommy breathed, barely louder than a whisper. "Who were you looking for?" Sarah's voice wavered as she stepped forward, curiosity overcoming her reluctance. The woman smiled, a knowing, enigmatic smile that sent chills down Sarah's spine. "The universe is knocking, my friends. It's time to answer. Fate has something to tell you." Her voice held a melodic quality, and each word echoed in the depths of their minds. There was certainty in her tone, an unyielding knowledge that they wouldn't dare dismiss. That a ripple of disbelief coursed through the diner. People shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether to laugh or lean in closer. A man at the bar chuckled derisively. What kind of a show is this? He looked ready to dismiss it all as nonsense. But a part of him was drawn in, curious about this woman's bold declaration. Ignoring the skeptics, the woman continued, "Tonight, you must choose. Do you follow the universe, or do you let fears guard your heart?" With each revelation, Tommy felt a surge of confidence overshadowing his doubts, while Sarah's mind raced. What if this was real? Are you saying we're supposed to find our soulmates? She asked, half expecting the stranger to laugh. Yes, the woman replied, leaning closer, her eyes fierce and unwavering. But know this: waking up to our desires requires courage. The signs are everywhere. You just have to be brave enough to see them. A tingling sensation sparked from Sarah's fingertips, igniting something deep within her. Are you saying we're more than just coincidences? Connected by fate? Exactly. The woman's intensity intensified. But with connections come challenges. You'll have to face truths you've hidden away. Only then can you grasp the profound love waiting to unfold. Suddenly, the lights flickered violently, and the diner erupted in a chaotic symphony of gasps and shouts. From behind, an unsettling whisper slithered through the air, sending chills down Sarah's spine. Time is running out, it warned, just as the doors swung open again, revealing an unexpected figure cloaked in shadows. Sarah's heart dropped. Who was it? And what danger lingered in their wake? As the atmosphere thickened with anticipation, Tommy reached out, clutching Sarah's wrist. Whatever is happening, we can't turn back now, and just like that, the stakes rose higher. Would they dare to confront the shadows that loomed close, threatening to shatter everything they thought they knew? What awaited in the unfolding chaos, and would they rise together to meet their destinies? The figure stepped into the diner, the light from the neon sign flickering off their dark cloak. A palpable tension coated the air, making every breath feel heavy and charged. Shadows danced around them, cloaking their features further, as the whispers of fear slipped from startled mouths. Sarah felt a chill creep up her spine, unfurling knots of anxiety deep within. Tommy tugged at her arm, pulling her closer, but the stranger's presence felt like a wall standing between them and the unknown. The woman at the table regarded the figure with an unsettling calm, her eyes narrowing slightly. "I wouldn't have expected you to come here," she said, voice steady despite the chaos brewing around them. "Neither would I, but she called to me," the figure replied, their voice low and gravelly, cutting through the tension with a sharpness that left others wincing. "Who are you?" Tommy demanded, feeling a rush of protectiveness cling to his words. The cloaked figure took a step forward, the light catching a glimpse of their face. It was a face known to Sarah, a face she had seen in her dreams, one filled with both familiarity and fear. It sent a jolt through her, lips parting as confusion settled in. "I'm the answer you seek, but also the questions you fear," the figure said cryptically. Gasps erupted from the crowd, and the woman at the table's lips curled into a wary smile. "You see, the universe does not play games lightly. It pushes us towards our truths, whether we're ready or not." Tommy's grip on Sarah tightened. She could feel the warmth radiating from him, grounding her amidst the upheaval. "What do you mean?" He stepped toward the figure, his resolve growing. "How do we know you're not just messing with us?" "Because," the figure replied, their gaze penetrating, "the universe sent me for you specifically. It's time to confront all that lies beneath the surface." A string of uncertainty threaded through Sarah. She was caught in a game of fate versus choice. The woman at the table had spoken of soulmates, of destiny, but this figure seemed like a harbinger of darkness, not light. Behind the cloaked being, a flicker of movement caught her eye. People in the diner were inching away, some whispering their fears, others staring wide-eyed as if peering into an abyss. The figure continued, "The time for denial is over. Change is coming, and it requires your active participation. Only then can you reveal the love that's waiting." Their voice rumbled like distant thunder. As they spoke, Sarah felt her pulse quicken, driven by a mix of terror and curiosity. What changes? What truth? A lump formed in her throat, the weight of anticipation suffocating yet exhilarating. She exchanged a glance with Tommy, uncertainty mirrored in his expression. The diner erupted into chaos as forks clattered to the ground and chairs scraped across the floor. Someone shouted, "Get out!" The door swung wide, and Sarah could feel the wind whisk through, stirring the air thick with desperation. "We can't leave, not now," she shouted over the din, desperate to hold on to this moment. But just as she spoke, the lights dimmed once again, leaving them cloaked in shadows. A roar of electricity crackled through the air, pulling everyone's attention back to the cloaked figure, who gazed steady, unfazed. "The answer is not in the dark," they said, their voice rising against the chaos. "It lies within your courage to step forward." Each word struck like lightning, igniting courage in some while paralyzing others with fear. Darkness and light hung in the balance, swirling around them. Sarah stood frozen, heart pounding, thoughts racing. Would she choose the safety of the familiar or embrace the unknown that beckoned her? The figure took another step closer, their cloaks stirring like smoke, and whispered, "Make your choice before the universe decides for you." With the sudden flicker of a distant flame, the diner seemed to collapse around them, plunging them all deeper into a choice that would change everything. What awaited them on the other side of the abyss? And would Sarah and Tommy have the strength to confront whatever truths lay waiting in that dark expanse? The cloaked figure loomed over them, and Sarah's heart raced. Was it fear or an adrenaline-fueled call to action? The crackling tension exploded as whispered fears turned to frantic cries. People were rushing for the exits, but Sarah's feet felt rooted to the floor, barely able to process what was unfolding. "Sarah, we need to go?" Tommy's voice broke through the chaos. His eyes glimmered with urgency, but she still felt tethered to the mysterious figure. "I can't. Not yet," she breathed, feeling as if the universe had paused just for them. "Why?" Tommy barked, the edge of panic sharpening his tone. "What could possibly matter more than leaving this place?" "It's not just a figure," she replied, pointing at the cloaked being. "It's something deeper. Something isn't right, but maybe this is our chance." The figure's gaze never wavered. "You already feel it, don't you?" they asked, voice unbearably calm amidst the turmoil. The pull of destiny? The ache of love waiting to be revealed. Sarah's insides twisted. She could sense it, an unseen thread connecting her to this moment, threatening to unravel her entire existence if she didn't act. "Destiny?" Tommy echoed incredulously. "What does that even mean?" "This isn't a fairy tale." "Isn't it?" The figure interjected, stepping toward them, their cloaks sweeping dramatically across the floor. "Life is but a series of choices that shape your path. This is the moment you must step into the light, or be consumed by the dark." From behind the counter, the diner's cook had frozen, spatula in midair, mouth agape. Every eye was now trained on them, hearts pulsing, waiting for someone to make a move. "Make your choice, Sarah," the figure reiterated, echoing like a beating drum in her chest. Breathless and wide-eyed, Sarah felt her mind racing. So many questions fired at once. What did she truly want? Was she ready to unravel the truth behind her dreams? Her life had seemed so ordinary until this moment, unraveling silently against the backdrop of destiny. But was the truth worth the risk? The implications swirled around her. Love, loss, fear. Could she lose the very fabric of who she was now? "Talk to me, Sarah." Tommy's grip on her arm tightened, but it also felt comforting, a lifeline in a churning sea of uncertainty. "What do you want?" The figure loomed in, an echo in a void, a promise of destiny. "When you open up to what is meant for you, you will find that everything else is merely an illusion." Before she could answer, a blinding light shot through the diner as the neon sign flickered wildly before exploding with a shatter of glass. In an instant, darkness swallowed the place, pierced only by the wrenching sound of chaos around them. "Holy!" Tommy cried, shielding Sarah as debris rained down, but she wouldn't cower nor slide back into the shadows. The pulse of adventure surged through her veins, igniting a fire. "Let us embrace it," she yelled, her voice bolstered by the roar of her heart. "Let us see where this takes us." The figure's smile widened in the dimness, revealing a glimmer of teeth. "Then step forward. Embrace the chaos. Your stories intertwine now." Amid the destruction, something from the depths of the figure's cloak caught Sarah's eye, a glint of silver. Before she could comprehend, the object was thrust into view, a shimmering amulet that pulsed softly, radiating warmth. "What is that?" Her mind whirled. grasping at the sudden glimmer of hope amidst the despair. It is both a key and a mirror. The figure spoke, their voice resonating deep within her. Accept it to see your truth, or refuse and lose the chance. Choose wisely. Time stood still. The chaos blended into a strange harmony as Sarah stood at the crossroads of fate. Would she dare to take the amulet and explore the unknown, or let illusion slip away into the dark? As Sarah's hand reached cautiously towards the shimmering object, the world around her faded, leaving only the sound of her crackling heartbeat echoing into the void. But just then, a haunting whisper threaded through the air. What will you discover about yourself? The question hung suspended like a heavy breath, begging to be answered. What awaited her as she grasped the power pulsing softly in the darkness? Would she be ready to uncover the depths of her own soul? As Sarah's fingers brushed the cool surface of the amulet, a jolt of energy surged through her, sparking her entire being. The warmth spread like fire in her veins. Her heart thundered in her chest, each beat synchronizing with the pulsing glow of the object. The chaos around her seemed to hush. The shattered glass, the murmurs of fear, everything faded into a soft blur, as if time itself had decided to take a breath, waiting for her next move. Take it, Tommy urged, voice barely making it through the haze. You have to decide. The figure's gaze, poised and patient, bored into her soul like a piercing light that sliced through the darkness. Choose, Sarah. Your truth awaits. What do you desire more than anything? Her mind spiraled. What was she truly seeking? The memories crashed over her, the dreams of being more than ordinary, the whispers of love that felt just out of reach, the relentless pull of destiny. She wanted to believe that life could be vibrant, electric, a tapestry woven with the threads of her decisions. But what if she said yes, and it revealed horrors? What if she tore the veil away to find monsters instead of magic? The ground shook beneath them, as if the very building were protesting her hesitation. Embrace this leap, the figure encouraged, their tones soothing yet unyielding, as if urging a faltering bird to take to the sky. Heart racing, Sarah steeled herself, feeling the rush of time propelling her forward. In that blazing moment of clarity, everything sharpened Tommy's worried face, the chaotic shadows darting behind them, the luring amulet pulsating against her palm like a heartbeat of its own. With a breath that barely staved off trembling, she grasped the amulet, its energy flooding her senses. The edges were rough, yet the center felt like molten gold warmth tingling against her skin. And then it hit her. A vision, vivid and consuming, crashed into her mind like a tidal wave. She stood in a vast field, golden light washing over her, the scent of wildflowers dancing in the air. She was not alone. There beside her was someone. A face both familiar and distant, eyes bright with an unspeakable connection, a soulmate waiting, reaching through the veil of time. But just as quickly as the vision came, it receded, leaving her breathless and gasping. "Sar!" Tommy shouted, his voice breaking through the remnants of the vision. Before she could react, an intense rush of wind swept through the diner, a tempest born of latent energy, tossing papers, shattering the last barrier between her and the truth. "Hold on," the figure warned, but their voice felt distant now. The ground beneath them trembled violently, breaking the suspense with a thunderous roar. Shards of broken neon glass sparkled like deadly stars in a storm. She clutched the amulet tighter, the warm glow merging with the chaos. "Tommy!" she shouted, but despair surged as she realized he had been swept away from her side, his panicked face swallowed by the darkness. The cloaked figure didn't fade. Instead, they stepped closer, extending a hand, palm open. "Step forward, Sarah. Embrace your choice. Don't be afraid of what comes." Sarah felt the tumult swirling around her, but within its chaos burned an inner flame, an unwavering pulse of hope. She could see a path forming, one lit by the glowing amulet, a path beckoning her beyond fear. But just as she took her first step, a deafening explosion rocked the diner, sending shockwaves through the air. The force knocked her down, the amulet flying from her grasp, tumbling across the floor. "Sarah!" She heard a faint cry through the din. Was it Tommy? Was he still there? As she struggled to rise, something dark loomed behind the figure, a shadow that threatened to engulf everything. "Do not lose hope," the figure shouted, but their voice cracked amidst the chaos. With a fierce surge of determination, Sarah lunged for the amulet, the world around her swirling. She felt her heart soar and plummet all at once. "Will you face the darkness?" The cloaked figure's question hung in the air like a specter. Just then, as her fingertips brushed against the amulet, a flash of light crackled around her. What awaited her in the shadows? Would she find Tommy? And was the darkness harboring more than she ever anticipated? The flash enveloped Sarah, encasing her in warmth and light. For a moment, it seemed like all the chaos faded away, replaced by a serene quiet that was both surreal and unsettling. The world twisted and morphed around her. She felt both weightless and feverishly alive. Then, like a film reel flickering back to life, the diner reshaped itself around her. Walls shimmered, and the scattered debris vanished. She found herself standing in a dark, yet familiar forest, tall trees looming above her, their silhouettes swaying ominously in the breeze. The air was thick, almost electric, and the amulet lay nestled in her palm, glowing softly, pulsing like it was alive. "Tommy," she called, her voice trembling as it ricocheted through the shadows. The silence that followed felt heavy, thick enough to suffocate. Uncertainty gnawed at her gut. As she took a step forward, a chill slithered up her spine. She was no longer in the diner. She was somewhere else entirely, a place of lost souls and hidden truths. The figure had vanished, leaving her to navigate this vast unknown alone. The vibrant light from the amulet guided her, casting long shadows that flickered like whispers at the edges of her vision. She felt the pull of something deeper, something vital, a calling that compelled her to move. Yet, trepidation lodged in her throat, reminding her of the darkness looming behind her, a reminder of the vulnerability she dared not acknowledge. "Stay close," she murmured, as if reassuring herself more than anyone else. Yes, she stepped deeper into the woods. The shadows thickened, cloaking the path. A sudden rustle broke the silence, pulling her heart into her throat. She froze, scanning the surroundings, trying to catch a glimpse of what lurked in her periphery. "Please, it can't be," she whispered, dread settling over her like a heavy cloak. Then she saw it, a figure emerging from the trees, hunched and shrouded in darkness. Panic surged as instinct kicked in, urging her to run. But the pull of the amulet was too strong, anchoring her to the ground. "Who are you?" she demanded, forcing her voice to remain steady despite the tremors in her hands. The shape stepped into the light, a face pale, gaunt with hollow eyes that glinted with an otherworldly intensity. "You should not have chosen this path, Sarah," it hissed, voice echoing around her with a chilling resonance. "Why are you here?" she gasped, her pulse pounding loudly in her ears. The figure drew closer, shadows curling around it like smoke. A sickly sweet scent invaded her senses, making her stomach churn. "You desire your soulmate?" it crooned, dark amusement lacing its words. "But love comes with a price, dear girl. Are you truly willing to pay it?" Nerves danced along her spine. The truths she sought weighed heavy on her heart. "I know what I want," she asserted, seemingly more for her benefit than his. "Do you?" The figure swayed closer, extending a finger that shimmered with shadows. "Love demands sacrifices. What will you lose to wield its power?" A weighty silence followed. The amulet glowed warmer as it vibrated in response to the tension, illuminating a dim path that twisted further into the heart of the forest. Sarah wrestled with her thoughts, knowing she had to make a choice that could ripple through her very essence. Then, a flash of memory struck her like a bolt of lightning. Tommy, his laughter wrapping around her like warmth on a cold day. The way he looked at her, as if she were the very sun. Could she sacrifice that? "No," she cried, steeling herself, the light of the amulet flaring in defiance. "I want to find him. I will not pay your price." The figure snarled, stepping back into the shadowed trees. "You will regret this, little flame. The darkness is patient and it thrives on your desires." As it faded into the night, Sarah felt the air shift. The trees whispered secrets as the path lit up around her, an inviting glow guiding her deeper. But doubt clawed at her heart. Had she made the right choice? With every heartbeat, she pushed forward, determined to uncover the mysteries that awaited her, yet terrified of shadows thrumming behind her. What awaited her at the end of this lit path? Would she find Tommy, or was darkness still growing? waiting for her to falter? The forest held its breath, and so did she. The path unfolded like a serpent, winding deeper into the shadows of the forest. The glow from the amulet pulsed rhythmically, illuminating patches of earth strewn with fallen leaves. Each time the light flickered, she caught glimpses of eyes peering from the darkness, watching her, waiting. Her heart hammered in her chest, quickening with a mix of dread and anticipation. "Tommy," she whispered, hoping that just saying his name would bridge the distance between them. Would he hear her? Was he even close? Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the air thickened with every unspoken fear and lingering doubt. Then, a low growl echoed around her. It rumbled through the trees, sending tremors up her spine. The shadows shifted, and she turned sharply, peering into the darkness. A pair of glowing eyes emerged, fierce and unyielding. Sarah gasped, taking a step backward, clutching the amulet tighter. "Stay back," she shouted, though her voice wavered. The growl deepened, a sound that crawled beneath her skin, igniting a primal urge to flee. But where could she go? The forest seemed to stretch infinitely, enclosing her in its secrets. "No, I can't run," she muttered, a mantra of resolve. "I have to find Tommy." The eyes advanced, moving away to reveal a massive wolf, its fur glistening like obsidian. The beast stood tall, muscles rippling under its coat, a majestic yet terrifying guardian of the woods. "Why do you intrude?" It growled, voice low and whispery, yet distinct. "You seek the boy beneath the shadows. I need to find him. He is my soulmate." Sarah stuttered, still holding the amulet before her like a shield. The wolf's gaze softened momentarily, a flicker of understanding passing through its golden eyes. "Love binds. But heads up, girl. The force you're challenging is stronger than you perceive. It feeds on the vulnerabilities of the heart." "I don't care," she insisted, anger bubbling within. "I will face whatever comes. I'm not afraid." "Not afraid?" The wolf chuckled, sound booming through the hollow trees. "Then, walk ahead, knowing every choice alters the threads of fate." Beauty and horror danced together in the unknown. With a whoosh, it stepped aside, revealing a glimmering path leading deeper into the underbrush. The mixture of excitement and dread surged within her. Was this the way to Tommy? Or was she stepping into a trap, a place where darkness awaited? She took a breath, letting the air fill her lungs, and stepped forward. The forest closed in around her as she moved along the shimmering path, uncertainty still gnawing at her heart. Dark branches twisted overhead, echoing her fears with rustlings and whispers that made her skin crawl. Suddenly, a voice sliced through the darkness, as cold and biting as frost. "You're searching for something that may never exist," it whispered, teasing her thoughts. "Each step you take could mean losing yourself entirely." "Stop," Sarah cried, her voice cracking as a raw panic surfaced. "I want to listen to you." But the voice only laughed, reverberating eerily through the trees. "Your love demands sacrifice, sweet girl. What will you surrender to keep it?" Panic surged, thrumming in her ears. She stumbled, nerves betraying her as her mind raced through the choices she had made, the fears she had dismissed. "Tommy," she murmured, fighting back tears. "I want to give up. I refuse." As she pressed on, the air thickened. She could feel the shadows pressing closer, as if alive, waiting for her to show a flicker of doubt. Where was Tommy? What price would she need to pay to find him? With each passing moment, the forest felt more like a trap, and dread wrapped around her like a suffocating blanket. What if she was already too late? A figure appeared at the end of the path, swathed in shadow. Heart pounding, Sarah called out, "Is that you, Tommy?" Silence hung heavy in the air. Sarah, the figure, breathed, voice deep and echoing, stirring hope. But as she moved closer, uncertainty curled like smoke in her gut. Was this the reunion she'd longed for? Or something far more sinister lurking just beyond the light? And then, she noticed two glowing eyes watching from the darkness behind him, and her heart sank. "Who is there?" she called, frantically glancing around. The shadows chuckled, and the forest sighed, holding its breath as danger rippled through the air. What new terror awaited her in the heart of this murky world? "Sarah." The figure stepped closer, illuminated by the amulet's light. His features sharpened into focus. It was indeed Tommy. Relief flooded through her, washing away the fear, but just for a moment. "What took you so long?" He questioned, sounding breathless. You shouldn't have come here. What? I was scared, Tommy. I thought I was losing you forever. Her voice trembled, torn between relief and lingering dread. But as she took a tentative step towards him, the shadows shifted. The darkness behind him deepened, and a low, sinister growl resonated again, intensifying her uneasy feeling. You shouldn't be here, Tommy repeated urgently, glancing over his shoulder. Fear shadowed his once familiar face. Why? What is happening? Her pulse quickened. The distance between them felt monumental, as if the shadows were stretching and pulling them apart. Suddenly, the two glowing eyes shifted to reveal a second figure, a figure that emerged from the darkness, tall and menacing. It seemed to glide, with a grace that chilled her to the bone. The wolf from before stood at its side, but now it appeared more like a massive, furry guardian, its stance ready and alert. Ah, destined lovers tangled in fate's web, the newcomer purred, voice smooth like velvet with a sinister undertone. But love, my dear, always comes with a cost. What are you? Tommy almost hissed, fist clenched. Sarah felt his tension vibrating like an electric charge in the air. Just a keeper of secrets, the figure replied, eyes shimmering like a starless night. In this realm, we thrive on the conflicts of the heart. You came to find each other, but everything has a price. What will you give? What do you want? Sarah demanded, clutching the amulet, its glow flickering as her heartbeat echoed in her ears. The shadows around them pulsed, eager and alive, pushing against her resolve. Ah, sweet girl, it's simple, it whispered with a mocking grin. Life? Freedom? Or perhaps another soul? Her breath caught in her throat. No, I won't sacrifice anyone. The thought alone sent chills racing down her spine. Yet here you are, ready to barter everything for your love? It gestured theatrically. What if I told you that your soulmate isn't who you think he is? That I hold the key to unlocking the truth about him? A swirl of doubt took hold. What truth? The truth that could set you free, it declared, eyes penetrating her soul. Or bind you in misery. Choose wisely, Sarah. Tommy stepped forward, desperation spilling from him. Don't listen to it. It thrives on lies. You've already lost so much, haven't we? The figure interrupted, almost mockingly. To love is to lose. Are you ready to embrace the inevitable darkness that comes with it? The wolf growled at the figure's feet, sensing her turmoil, and its eyes glinted with warning. Caught between the pulsating demands of the shadows and the ghost of the familiar face before her, Sarah felt her heart thumping fiercely. Tommy, I don't. But as she searched his eyes, her resolve began to waver. What if the dark voice was right? What if the forest concealed secrets she could never fathom, secrets about love and sacrifice? The air thickened, the weight of the choice pressing down hard on her soul. If you want Tommy back, you must give in. The shadowy figure grinned wider, excitement dancing in its gaze. But dare you risk what you love most for what you think you know? Sarah's breath quickened, mind racing. The question loomed like a storm cloud. Who, or what, do I really love? As confusion twisted around her heart like brambles, she recognized the growing darkness around them. The clock was ticking, and a decision loomed. Would she plunge into the unknown, chasing after answers that could shatter everything she believed? The darkness held its breath, waiting for her choice. Choose, it urged, voice echoing ominously. And before Sarah could respond, the air crackled with energy, and she felt the world shift as her fate spun from her grasp. What would she decide in that fleeting moment when love and sacrifice collided? The shadows swirled around Sarah, pressing closer, pulling at her like a tidal wave. The darkness felt sentient, eager to engulf her. She looked back at Tommy, his face a mask of worry, eyes wide, pleading with her to hold on. Sarah, please. His voice, once her anchor, now trembled with uncertainty. The sinister figure leaned in, its breath a mix of decay and sweet deception. You stand at the edge of truth and illusion. Choose wisely, child, for every decision reshapes your reality. Sarah's heart raced. What did the figure mean? Truth and illusion tangled in her mind like roots in the soil. Behind her, the wolf growled again, its growl echoing like a distant promise of safety, but she felt the pull of darkness stronger than ever. Stay with me, Sarah? Tommy's eyes glimmered, desperation choking his words. Don't let it sway you. You could have everything you desire, the figure said, voice dripping with temptation. You could be rid of pain forever. If only you sacrifice what binds you to this reality. It pointed a long, bony finger toward Tommy. What is he without you? A shell, a waking dream, nothing but a shadow. The world around her teetered on the brink of chaos. Sarah's grip on the amulet tightened, its protective glow flickering in rhythm with her racing heart. The idea of losing Tommy felt unbearable, yet the shadows sang of freedom. What if choosing Tommy meant binding herself to perpetual darkness? What price are you willing to pay? The chilling voice whispered. For love or the truth? Do you value your heart more than your existence? Don't listen. Fight it, Sarah. Tommy's shout was filled with raw emotion, sparking an inner fire within her. The wolf whined, pacing nervously beside him, its eyes both frightening and comforting. Sarah's instincts screamed at her. No, I refuse to sacrifice anyone. Not you, Tommy. Her voice grew louder, against the echo of temptation. The figure laughed smooth and confident, like ice gliding across a lake. Brave words, my dear, but love requires sacrifice. Let me show you what is hidden from your eyes. With that, the ground trembled, and in a flash, the forest transformed. Flickers of memories flashed in front of her, laughter shared, fleeting moments of joy, but then darkness crept and fears materialized, past shadows lurking, whispering of betrayal. Sarah's breath hitched as images of love shifting to pain tangled her thoughts. Is that who you are? Will you let those doubts destroy us? Tommy's voice cut through the chaos like a knife. You know me, Sarah? Don't let it shatter our truth. Tears stung her eyes. The question hung heavily in the air. What was love if it thrived on sacrifice and doubt? Could there be a truth strong enough to withstand this darkness? We're connected like threads in a tapestry, Tommy continued, grounding her. No sacrifice should come between us. Fight this. But what if he was wrong? What if he was a facade crafted by the shadows to keep her tethered to despair? At that moment, the shadows pulsed, merging memories and desires into a swirling vortex of emotions. The choice woven before her felt almost too complex to bear. Her heart ached, thumping wildly as she pulled away from the shadows and closer to Tommy. Tell me the truth, Tommy. Who are you really? The figure's expression soured, its patience waning. You're grasping at straws, Sarah. Love is but a thin veil over misery. The more you fight, the more you lose. Let me decide, she cried, holding the amulet high, its warmth spreading like a protective cocoon around them. The unseen forces surged, whispers intensified, testing her loyalties, pushing at the very fabric of her being. Shadows danced, coiling around her intent like a desperate lover. No more, she screamed, channeling all she had into that one moment of defiance. The shadows recoiled, and an eerie pause filled the air. The forest held its breath, as if waiting for the direction of her thoughts. What will you choose, Sarah? The figure's voice trembled, a slight crack appearing in its icy demeanor. In the electric silence, her heart drummed with newfound strength. The truth was not something to be given, but something to be fought for, no matter the cost. And then, as the darkness swirled, a blinding light erupted from the amulet. Would it reveal the dreadful truth, or would it fracture everything she believed? Just then, a piercing howl echoed through the trees, resonating with a power that shook her core. What other horrors awaited as the secrets of the shadows began to unravel? The light from the amulet expanded fiercely, filling the forest with brilliance that temporarily banished the shadows. For a heartbeat, everything faded into a swirling glow, warmth enveloping Sarah like a protective embrace. But the crackle of energy that pulsed at her fingertips came charging with a revelation. She had power beyond her comprehension. Tommy, she gasped, desperation mixing with newfound strength as she took a step toward him. The shadows were retreating, hissing like fading whispers. For the first time, Sarah could see clarity in each hesitation, a strength flowing through her words. Can you feel it? She called, her voice shaking with excitement. The truth is powerful, Tommy. It's enough to break whatever this is. The figure shimmered in the background, uncertainty crossing its face. The light will not save you from the costs of love. It hissed, but now there was fear in its tone. It'll save us from you. Sarah shouted, recalling every moment that brought them together, the laughter, those silly fights, and the warmth in Tommy's touch. Those memories coalesced into a whirlwind of hope, stirring her like a storm breaking. "Don't let it get to you, Sarah," Tommy shouted over the rising wind, straining against the shadows creeping toward him. "Remember us. Remember, love." Those words fused like a lifeline. "I do," Sarah managed to cry, her heart bursting inside her chest. "I want us more than I fear you." The amulet flared brighter in response, radiating a golden light that swept the shadows aside as they darted back in retreat, shrieking in anger. But the figure lurked, its presence more ominous in the face of her defiance. "Foolish girl. Love binds tightly but tears painfully," it warned, cloaked in venomous mockery. "Not if we face it together." Her voice rang out like a battle cry. "We're not naive. We choose love, and we choose the truth." The forest shuddered, responding to the surge of power unleashed by her declaration. The shadows writhed, growing less substantial, and the dark figure stumbled back, visibly off balance. The wolf at its side growled in recognition, swaying closer to Sarah, sharp eyes glinting with approval. "Tommy, reach for me." Sarah breathed intensely, extending her hand toward him, anchoring herself between hope and fear. "Always," he replied, a distant spark igniting his own strength. With one determined stride, he took a step closer, his outstretched fingers brushing against hers. An electric current ignited between them instantly, the connection surging like wildfire. "Let us do this together." In that instant, their hands met, and the world shifted again. A beautiful piercing of light enveloped them, casting away every thread of vulnerability that once bound them. "You've chosen love," echoed the shadows, a wail more monstrous now than threatening. "But it will come at a price." The brightness thickened, spiraling into various colors, illuminating darkness. In that kaleidoscope of light, Sarah caught glimpses of their future, a vibrant life filled with laughter and tears, challenges they would conquer side by side, and a love that would bind their existence through thick and thin. "Hold on," she cried, as the very ground they stood began to tremble and split. Through the chaotic reconnection of realities, Sarah felt a pulsing warmth surge from the amulet as it cried out for the truth within her, a song that guided them home. The darkness thinned like smoke resolving into the air, and with a burst, it collapsed, its grip shattered. The shadows cleaved apart, spiraling away as if vaporizing into the light. She and Tommy surged through the radiant folds of energy, breaths synchronized, hearts beating as one. As silence fell like a blanket upon the forest, and everything settled into stillness, they stood hand in hand. The world around them transformed back into familiarity. The diner now lay carved from shadows into inviting golden warmth. The patrons stood wide-eyed, their fears having faded into awe. They couldn't comprehend what had happened, but somehow, they felt the energy shift inside them too, beckoning toward their own truths, their own paths. Did we really just do that?" Tommy whispered, breathless joy lighting his expression. "I think we did," Sarah replied, glancing around at the crowded diner. "We chose love together." The mysterious woman at the table smiled, a look of pride etched on her features. "You've learned much, young souls," she said softly. "Now goes your journey of heartfelt truths. Revel in the whispers of destiny, see the signs, and love fiercely without regrets." They exchanged a look full of emotion, the weight of their adventure hanging between them, tying them closer. "Are you ready for the next step?" Tommy asked, still holding her hand, brown eyes resolute yet soft. As she gazed into his eyes, Sarah felt a wave of warmth engulf her. "Absolutely. Together, no matter what comes next." And as they stepped from the shadows of uncertainty into the light, they knew this was merely the beginning. They would continue to embrace love's fight, learn, grow, and together transform their world. With hearts bold and intertwined, Sarah and Tommy began their journey anew, knowing the universe would continue to weave its whims. But this time, they would face the signs head-on. Together, this is the moment to share your thoughts. If you loved this epic conclusion, you need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about the ending. Let us talk. And don't wait even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything.